This video is going to be on purchase orders and going over the entire realm of purchase orders and vendor credits. So, we are going to start. Alright, so we're going to start with our PO list, and up at the top, on this bar up at the top here, it says PO list on it. So we're going to start off with how do you give a PO. This particular icon here, a PO list, is going to give you the entire list of all the POs that have been given. You can literally take it down to different years and all that kind of stuff if you wanted to. At the search bar over here on open POs, you can change it to full PO list, last 365, PO history, vendor credits, and you can actually take it and make this thing do what you want it to do and make your own views. Recently added POs, open purchase orders, full list. You can add a custom view on here as well too. Personal views, build POs, equipment POs. You can just add something that you want, and you can literally go down that list and make your own list, and only just for your computer. And you don't have to share it with everybody. It can be just your particular deal that you want to do. If you want to give a purchase order, we always give the purchase order through a dispatch, not like I am showing here. If I wanted to add a PO right now, I hit the add button right up on the top here, underneath the blue line. I don't know how well this is coming across on the video there, but underneath this blue line it says add. If you click add, it says purchase order and vendor credit. So if you want to add a PO, you click PO. If you want to add a vendor credit, you click vendor credit. Now again, phone calls. Yeah, babe. I'm doing a class right now on video. All right. So the purchase order is going to be given through a dispatch as well as a vendor credit. So you really should never come to PO list and add a PO. It should always be done through the actual dispatch. Okay? If there is no dispatch made for that particular job, well, there should be some somewhere. So if I'm going to order equipment, or if I'm going to order a part, well, how do you know to order the part of the equipment? You had to go to the job to make a proposal for the customer to say, yes, I want it. So the dispatch will be the dispatch you went out on as an estimate to do that job. So you click on that one, and we'll go over that as well too, that you're going to change that dispatch from a estimate to an install, and then from there create a purchase order. Now creating a purchase order is huge because there's so many different ways that you can do it that you can screw it up as opposed to doing it correctly. Okay, so I'm going to get out of the PO list right now. We're going to click on the X, wipe that off. There's going to be nothing up on my computer other than the dispatch board. So on the dispatch board, I am going to go to the service board. So right in the middle here, again, underneath this blue line, it says board on it. They have install. We're going to go down to service, and that's going to pull up our main service board. On our main service board, I've got some dispatches underneath my name. So what I'm going to do for teaching here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a dispatch for myself, because it's going to be my own house. It doesn't matter. I can create POs and dispatches and all that kind of stuff, and even if I forget to delete it, everybody knows it's underneath my name and I'm not purchasing it for myself or whatever may be the case, and it would eventually they bring it to me and it'd be deleted. So I'm going to go ahead and create a dispatch right now. We're going to just say this is going to be for an estimate. So we're going to create this dispatch. On the left hand side, underneath service request code, we will go to estimate AC, which is 004. Click on it. The dispatch number is right underneath general. It's on the left hand side. I'll move the mouse around again. I don't know how well you can see this. Why don't you go look through there and see if you can see the mouse moving, just so I won't have to keep saying that.
Alright.
Just see if you can get up on there and see what I'm looking at, you know. When it says estimate on it, that means that this dispatch is going to be for an estimate. When you tab over, it's going to say called in by. Well, who's actually calling in to ask for the estimate? We're going to say Eric called in to do an estimate for himself here. Type billable is going to be now estimate. It's going to be ESTINS under type billable. So that is directly in the middle. We're going to change that to estimate. We're going to go down to priority. Can you see it?
Yeah, a little. Yeah, you can see it moving.
Okay. Priority is going to turn it to green, which is going to be estimate, which is going to be green. Who is it received by is automatically going to pop in my name since I'm on the computer right now. One of the most important things in this dispatch is going to be the job. Now, when I click down this button, it's giving every job that Eric Guillory, in this case, has ever had in this computer. So I've got, 25, 30 different houses in the computer that I've owned at one point in time, and it's giving you all those for jobs. So what you do, instead of clicking on the arrow, you actually start typing in the job. The job will always be the address. So I will strictly just go 228 space and I will hit P for Pie Street, and I will not type it in anymore. So if somebody typed in PIE, the job's not going to come up because the Pie is actually spelled PI in this case. So I type in 228 space P, and then I hit the arrow down, and it only gives me one job with that. If I continue to type in Pi, P-I-E, and now I hit the arrow down, it gives me nothing. So the more I continue to type, the less chances I'm going to get for having that correct job on that board. So always the address, 2284, 2364, and then the first letter of the street, then stop. And then when I do that, it's going to pull up PI Street on there. Now I can select. Remember, the job is going to be the same as the actual address, so Pi. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit date, timestamp, and that's going to put my name on it, whoever's doing the dispatch, and then the time and date that you're actually doing it. And I'm going to have on here, customer wants estimate on new unit. Alright, so with that, it will end up getting put and dispatched under schedule, which is the second tab over. They have general, then they have schedule. Under technician here, it says unassigned. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my estimate for myself, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move it, the technician to Eric. Date promise, I'm just going to leave it as today and today's time. So if you want to dispatch it out for 2 weeks from now, you change the date to that promise date and whatever time it would be. Underneath general and underneath the notes, you will also put what time the customer wanted it and any other notes that the customer has given to you. Customer had 3 estimates, is looking for another price before they make a decision. All that kind of stuff that the customer said, you want to put in those notes. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and save this dispatch. When I save that dispatch, it is now, because I am on the wrong date here, it's going to take it to the 19th, and it's going to put it underneath my name.
All right.
So we've got unassigned on the first line, and then Eric on the second line, and my dispatch is on that line. So I go ahead and I do the dispatch, I give the estimate, and the customer says, okay, I want to go ahead and get this work done. I come back to the office, I go to this dispatch, and I double click on that dispatch. When I double click on the dispatch, I'm going to go into general, and then I'm gonna now change these notes because now the customer has approved one of the option 1, 2, or 3 on the estimate. And I'm just gonna make this up at random here. I've given this customer an estimate and they opted for option 3. So I'm gonna put on here option 3, and I'm just gonna say it was for $15,000 and they are paying by credit card. If they are financing, now I've got to get an approval number for financing. We've got to get the financing approved for it. If they're putting some money down, all that has to be in the notes. If they're paying by cash or check, we've got to have all that in the notes. If they're paying by credit card, depending upon the estimate, we may or may not have put in there the extra that we charge for finance fees on a credit card, which is 3%. In this case, I'm just saying because it's all made up, it's being paid by credit card. I gave them a $15,000 estimate. That included the 3% in there that covers the credit card charge. So now the customer says, I want option 3. We have to make sure that we take the proposal and then we have to go into documents and then we have to add new. And then when we add new, I'm just going to pick one of somebody else's proposal. And I'll just add that particular proposal because this is going underneath my name and it's fake anyway. I add that proposal in the documents, and therefore I know that that job that is being installed, the proposal is in my documents. Underneath the general tab, it's going to have option 3 and $15,000. At this point in time, I'm going to go and get a packet. And these up here are packets that are to be done on every install job that needs to be done. Now this particular one is orange and it's for a warranty one. If I grab a green one, the green one is going to be for changeouts. So the green one's for changeouts, the yellow one's for rough ends, the orange one's for warranty installs. So on this particular install checklist, I'm going to put on there the customer's name, address, the price, salesman, the proposal number, which is the dispatch number. Called Eric to see when the job can be done. So I decided that we're going to do this job, let's just say tomorrow. So I'm going to put tomorrow's date on the green sheet here. I'm going to put the install date, and I'm going to go to schedule on the dispatch. And on schedule, I'm going to go ahead and put date promise time, which will be the install date, which I'm just going to leave as today.
Let me ask you one quick question. On type, I've always, what's the NS stand for again, for estimates?
This was EST, and it was INS for insulation is what it was supposed to be at one point in time, but we just use it for estimates now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's what it was for.
Okay.
Cancel if you have cancel on it, it will not ask you for an invoice. Personal won't ask you for an invoice. So I have a doctor's appointment, then they'll put personal on it. If it's my rental property, they'll ask for an invoice. If it's a rough-in, they'll ask for an invoice. Service agreement asks for an invoice. Service asks for an invoice. Training does not ask for an invoice. Warranty asks for an invoice. Okay, so that the type of dispatch, which means that will it ask you for an invoice when this is completed or not?
Gotcha.
Okay, so here we're going to now change this from estimate to install, which is INST, and we put that on there, and we're going to change the priority from estimate, which is green, we're going to change it to gray, which is the install one. Now I've moved the date, which is going to leave it for today. I would move it to tomorrow if we're installing it tomorrow or next week. Now the dispatch is ready to be put for, let's just say this Friday coming. The install is for Friday. No problem. We scheduled it for Friday. We changed it to install. We took the type billable. We put it on install. We grabbed a packet. The packet is being filled out. Called in to see when it can be done. We're just going to say Friday, and we put Friday's date. find the original proposal, circle one that needs to be installed. So we're going to print the proposal out, and we are going to now circle and highlight the one, option 3. That's the one that's being chosen. We're going to put a line through option 1 and 2 so nobody confuses it. Does the customer want a 10-year parts and labor warranty? Well, we put a 3-year with all of them. So I'm just going to say we changed it to a 3-year. Do they have a service contract? I always put a service contract in there already. So I will say yes on that one. Verify with customer how they were paying. Check one, cash, credit card, check, financing, whichever one that one is. If it's a finance company, who are they financing through? What's the amount? Is it approved? What's the approval number? You're going to have to put an approval number here in this dispatch. Approved, yes or no. Approved for full amount, yes or no. Down payment, financing amount, plan number, monthly payments and terms. Do you want a 61 months at 7.99, 5.99 at 36 months? What is the terms that you want? You're going to fill this completely out on here once we know what the financing is and how much the monthly payment is and how much they're putting down. Our next check is move dispatch to the correct day. So I would go to schedule and I would change this from the date that I'm on now, which is a Monday, and I'm going to go change it to Friday, which in this case I'm just going to leave it on Monday so it stays on today. I would change it to Friday and I would check off here, yes, I changed it to the correct date. Write customer on the grease board. So now I'm going to go to Friday's date and I'm going to go to the grease board that's in my office and I'm going to write the customer's name, address, and the total amount on Friday's date. And I'm going to put my initials on the bottom right corner that I sold it. Move customer correct day, write customer on the grease board, put together packet, which includes the red invoice. So here's a packet already made out, and this tells you what all it's going to include. Two blue warranty forms, quality control checklist, rough-in checklist, all finance papers, original proposal. Then your next line down goes to the next person. So if you're setting up this dispatch, this was your job all the way up until the line to set this dispatch up for install. Then it goes to what we're fixing to go over here, which is POs. Did you issue a PO for the job and who was it given to? So now I've got my dispatch made for that particular date. I changed it to install. I changed the type billable to install. I went ahead and I put in the dispatch notes that it's option 3 and they're paying by credit card. Now my next thing is I'm going to go up to the top underneath my blue line. On this dispatch, it's going to say...
One thing, real quick. Don't you change your service request code to...
Yeah, you change the estimate to
install equipment, right?
Install equipment, yes,
right.
You would. So service request code is underneath dispatch. When you're changing all this, you change that from estimate to install equipment. So now the gray on the board, when they're looking at it in the dispatch board, is going to show it's an install. You will also go into schedule and change it from my name, which what I gave the estimate, and you're also going to change that to install. So I'm going to change it to install now. I would change the date to Friday. I'm going to leave it today, so it just stays on today's date. When you change that and when you put install equipment, it's going to pop up down at the bottom here. Date of install, who sold it, which option, total price of the job, how are they paying, finance company, whatever. So since I've put this up at the top, the date of the install, I'm going to put 12, that's actually like 12/23. So we'll put 12/23/22, all right. Who sold the job, which is going to be my name. Which option, which I've got that at the top, option 3. Total price of the job, $15,000. How are they paying? Credit card, which I've already written this on the top. And then what I'm going to end up doing where it says finance, and since they're not financing anything, I'm just going to delete that. So now I can end up going up to the top here. When I change this from estimate to install equipment, it automatically puts these questions on there. So if I go underneath where it says who sold the job, and I click right before the W, and I hit backspace, it's gonna pop up one to where it's on the same line as the date of the install. Then I go underneath and I put right before which option, and I backspace it, and it jumps up top as well. And I do the same thing with the total price of the job. And what I'm just simply doing is I'm putting all the answers that we just gave. So when you click on install equipment, it asks you all these questions, and they're line item down, and now I'm just putting them all on one line. When I do that, then I'm going to go underneath that, and I'm just going to create a line underneath that dispatch. So up at the top, everything underneath that line now can be, I called the customer, see if they were home. I called the customer to tell them this, called the customer, or customer called for this, customer called for that. Anything that extra that you got to put on there goes underneath that line. So if we pull up this dispatch and we're looking for critical information, how are they paying, credit card, what option is it, all that kind of stuff, it is above the line, and that doesn't keep getting pushed down every time you add a note. Call left message, no answer. Customer calls, said they'll be home at 3 o'clock. Call left message, customer not answering the phone. That keeps pushing that top part all the way down. So next time you pull the dispatch up, it's just harder to find the information. You put everything at the top of the dispatch notes, you put a line there, and then all your dispatch notes from there on go underneath that, but your top information stays at the top. Okay?
Gotcha.
Now, from here we have to order the equipment. Okay? So underneath the blue line, still within this dispatch. Now remember, I have just created this dispatch. So this dispatch could have went on the board. It could have went under my name. I could have went out and did the job, came back, and now I'm back into the same position. So even though I'm creating the dispatch and haven't done anything with it, I haven't went to the house or anything like that, I haven't changed the status of the dispatch or anything like that, it doesn't make any difference, because if I would have went out to the job and came back and did it, I'd still be in the same position. I still have to change it to install, change the priority to install, change the service request code from estimate to install equipment. I still have to put everything in the notes. No big deal. I just end up now, I'm back where I'm supposed to be at. I have to order the equipment. How do I order the equipment, and what do I use? What line items do I use to order the equipment? Underneath the blue line, when you are on this dispatch, anything that you choose underneath the blue line will affect that dispatch that is actually pulled up. So the icons that are above the blue line at the very top, I'm going to read them off to you. Top left corner, customer center. Next one, qualified. Next one, dispatch board, dispatch list, agreement list, invoice list, quote list, vendor center, PO list, item list, and search. All those at the very top are going to be a generic that if you're pulling something up new. When you have a dispatch open, a board open, it will start lining up in the blue line as a separate little line item. So you can have 10 things open up, and you can go from one to the other on the blue line, and you can go to a dispatch, to the dispatch board, to a vendor credit, and all this stuff can be open on your screen, and it's going to give you an individual little line on that blue line. So underneath the blue line means that in this case I have a dispatch pulled up. So underneath that dispatch, the name that I have pulled up there is a list which says save, delete, print, email, activities, qualify customer, edit customer, create invoice, display statement, view ordered parts, order parts, create purchase order, and exit. So because the tab that I am on says dispatch Eric Guillory, which is the dispatch for the install we are fixing to do, anything that I click beneath the blue line will attach itself to that dispatch. So in this case, I am going to create a purchase order for that dispatch to order the equipment. I do that now and I hit create purchase order. Before I do that, I'm going to hit view order parts. And the reason I'm going to do that is just for the case that 6 months later, the customer calls and says they want this done. Well, did anybody get to this before I did? And if somebody did, if you hit view ordered parts and it gives you a PO, you can see that, well, another employee got there before you did and they went ahead and ordered the equipment. Okay? So if you view the ordered parts first and there's nothing there, now you know you can go ahead and create a purchase order for that equipment. So I'm going to do that, and now I'm going to go over the entire purchase order list and why we do what we do. So when I hit create purchase order, and because it ended up using the information underneath this blue line, it pulled up the dispatch for Eric Guillory, because that's the one we're working on. It put in here job as 228 Pie Street, which is where we're doing the job at. It pulled the dispatch number up, because on here in general, underneath general, it says dispatch. And that's 160432 is my dispatch number. In the actual PO that we're doing, it says dispatch 160432. Same exact dispatch number. So remember, because I am creating a purchase order and I'm doing it like I'm supposed to be doing it, which is going to the dispatch first and creating a purchase order underneath the dispatch, it already tags it to the dispatch number and the job. Now, that's extremely important, because if you went to PO list first and you created a purchase order by going to PO list, you're not going to have the dispatch number and you're not going to have the job, so you're going to screw that PO up. So do not create a purchase order underneath PO list. You only create it on an actual dispatch. Okay? Now, with this PO, we're going to go back to it here and we're going to play with this a lot. So Coburn's is one of my main dealers that I purchase a lot of my equipment through. It's very important when you go to the vendor up at the top, you do the same thing as you were doing for the job. I'm going to type in COB and then I'm going to hit tab, and that is going to be the correct Coburn's account that this is going to go underneath. If I was to continually type in Coburn's, it will come up as a different account. It comes up as Coburn's floor plan. I did not put an apostrophe S. If I put apostrophe S, oh, that's the wrong one. That one came up with the correct one. If all you do is just type in from the very beginning COB and then hit tab, it's going to come up with the correct Coburn's account, and then don't go any further. You don't need to go into all kinds of other stuff, but typing in Coburn, COB, it pulls up the correct one. If you're typing in AC supply, now is it A/C supply? Is it AC supply? Well, if you type in AC and you hit the arrow, it'll give you the list of where you're supposed to be at. If it's got a slash in there in the computer, you may have to go search for it. So on Coburn's, which is the main one we deal with, it's important that you only type in COB and then hit tab, and it pulls up the correct Coburn's. Now, to the right of that address gives you ship to shipping address. You're going to go ahead and you're going to click the little arrow down underneath order placed. So you have an order placed and a build, which will come into play later on in this video. Underneath there, you type in, you click the little arrow down and it says ship to. Now, if you don't remember the address of the customer, you just move this down a little bit and you go to your job and it says 228 Pie Street. You go underneath here at the very bottom, it says location name. You're going to click the little arrow down and you go to address on it. Then to the right of that, you click 228, and then again, you just hit P. And then it pulls up Pie Street. Again, if I would type in PIE, it has no address on it. It's very important that you do the things that I'm telling you to do and not overthink these things. So 228P, stop. It pulls up one address up there and you have only one to select from. The reason that is so important is because as you key in 228 Pie Street, if somebody else owned this house before I owned it, and then somebody purchased the house after I owned it, and all three of these customers are in my database, then when you key up 228P, all three of those customers are going to pop up on the computer. Two may still be active, and one may be inactive, but now you have to choose between the two active ones of which one you're actually dispatching this out to, and which one you're putting the PO underneath. So one of them could be spelled 228 Pie Street, and you type in 228 PIE, and then you actually put it underneath the wrong job. When you put it underneath the wrong job, now you really screwed everything up in QuickBooks. So all of the job that you just did now just went underneath somebody else's name in QuickBooks, and you screwed everything up. So if you do not follow instructions like I am trying to continually say, 228 space P, stop. Hit the arrow down and it only gives you one customer. And that's 99% of the time the correct customer. So where it says up at the top here, ship to shipping address, it's Eric Guillory, 228 Pie Street in Belchase. Then you come down below that, and I'm going to read them off to you. The next line down says purchase order number 26687. Entry date, which is today, 12/19/22. Date requested today. Buyer. Who is actually doing the order? Well, I'm going to do the order, so the buyer is going to be Eric. You can leave the terms alone and not fool with it. And ship via, you're going to go ahead and you're going to put on here delivered. So Coburn's is going to deliver it to us. Confirm to, well, who is this being confirmed to? This is your initials that you are going to put on there. Whoever is doing this PO is going to be confirmed to, it's going to be your initials. If I'm purchasing the equipment at Coburn's and you're doing the PO, buyer is going to be Eric, confirmed to are going to be your initials. Okay?
So I have a question real quick.
Yep.
Back to vendor. We got Coburn's. Now, suppose you're ordering it from the other Coburn's.
Doesn't matter, still Coburn.
Doesn't matter? Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's Harahan,
AC
West
Supply,
Bank, doesn't
okay.
matter.
Gotcha.
If it's a different supply house, meaning Kaiser or AC,
Right,
it's
then
a
you got
completely different.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't matter what
Which
Coburn.
address-
It could
I
be
gotcha.
Coburn's in Mississippi, or Texas. It doesn't
Okay.
matter. It's still Coburn's.
Got it. Got it.
Still coming from corporate office.
Uh-huh. I see.
Okay. So now that we have finished with in the gray area all the way up to confirm to. Now it's very important that you do not skip any of these steps in here. Your dispatch number's got to be there. Your job number's got to be there. Your ship to address has got to be there. Date requested in your PO is automatically going to pop up. Before this PO is actually saved, you do have an opportunity to change that PO number and put a name in there, like if somebody was purchasing a tool or something. You can put their name in it.
Okay.
Now, item number becomes some of the most important stuff, and this part that I'm fixing to go over is definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, the most important stuff, and making sure the PO is actually put underneath the correct line item. Okay. Any Rude equipment, any Mitsubishi equipment, any Amana equipment, any Lennox equipment, all, if we're purchasing equipment, equipment is going to be a furnace, a coil, a condenser, or an air handler. Equipment is not a contactor, it's not a fan motor, it's not a hard start kit, it's not all those little bitty different things. Equipment is a furnace, coil condenser, and air handler. Now, if I am selling and this customer is purchasing an RA16, you type in RA16, that is the model number of the condenser, and let's just say it's a 36. I'm going to go down to RA1636 AJ1NA, and I am going to select that model number. With that, it's going to put in description Rude 16 SEER R410A 3-ton condenser. Quantity 1, price 1842.62, amount 1842.62. Dispatch number is already in. Job is 228 Pie Street. The department you're going to put, in this case, under residential install, which is 01. I'm going to go down to my coil. So if I've got a 16 SEER 3-ton condenser, now these model numbers, you're going to get these from the actual proposal. So I will have the proposal sitting in front of me, and it will actually have the model number on there that will be ordered. So my coil will be an RCF. You type in the first 3 letters of it, and I'm going to use an RCF 3617 STA-MCA. I'm going to put that in there. It's automatically going to come up with a quantity as 1. It automatically has the price on it. Now this price that it has on it is going to be an average price of what has been sold to me in the computer here. Okay? So it's very important that we take our equipment and we make our equipment separate in pricing on the PO. The next thing is going to be, say, an R801TA furnace. So I did not continue the entire model number out, which would have been in this case an R801TA 075 421 MSA. If I would have continually typed that out and I would have hit one thing wrong, it would not have come up with the correct furnace. It would have come up with nothing. I type in R801T, I stop, it pulls it up, and I'm going to create a 7521 or a 7517 furnace. I'm going to use the 17 furnace because it matches the 17 coil. The 17 is the width of the furnace and the width of the coil. Now, I've got my furnace, my coil, and my condenser on this PO. I also need ductwork. I'm going to make this up, and I'm going to say I need 3 bags of 10-inch, 2 bags of 8-inch, 7 bags of 7-inch, 4 bags of 2-inch, whatever. I'm going to put all existing or all the equipment that is needed under one line item, which is going to be MSC space change out. So I'm going to type in MSC space, type in change, and only one thing is going to pop up, which is going to be miscellaneous change out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on that. And then in the description, I'm going to type in ductwork, boxes and grills. And the reason I'm going to do this is because in order to give this PO, if I was going to do a true inventory of every line item that goes on that job, I would have to type for 20 minutes, putting every little bitty individual item on there. You know, I'd have to find a 10-inch duct, 8-inch duct, 7-inch duct, a 10-10-8 box, 10-6-7 box, a 10-6 grill. You know, I'd have to do a collar and all this kind of stuff. Well, there's way too much individual stuff to put in there, so you just type in miscellaneous change out and you put ductwork, boxes, and grills. When the PO invoice actually comes in, at the top of the invoice, it's going to have a price of the condenser, price of the furnace, price of the coil. All the other prices in there, you will definitely have line item prices for every little thing that we ordered. All the boxes, grills, collars, the whole 9 yards of it. All the rest of that makes no difference to me. It just goes underneath miscellaneous change out. So in this case, as we speak right now, the total price at the bottom is $3,446.16. If I was ordering a whole bunch of ductwork, then my cost of the ductwork, I'm just going to put as $22.50, okay? So if I change it to $22.50 on the ductwork, that brings my total bill to $56.82.01. Now, when I actually get the bill in, that's where the big difference comes in. So this is an estimate. This is an estimate of ductwork of what it's going to cost of $2,500. When I actually get the bill in, the total bill is going to be $8,333. Okay? $8,333.00 is what the total bill is going to be. Obviously making this up. So what I'm going to do here in order to figure that out of how much is going to be on my change out, I'm going to go to my price of my ductwork and I'm going to put it as 0. And now I'm going to go to my computer, to my calculator. 8333 is going to be a plus. And then I'm going to take 3432.01, 3432.01 as a negative. So 4,999 cents. 4900.99 is going to go in my miscellaneous changeout. So my total down at the very bottom becomes $8,333.00. Now, with that being said, I am assuming at this point in time that the pricing of my furnace, my coil, my condenser is the exact pricing that is on the invoice. Well, if you read the invoice is not going to have the condenser as being $842.62. And I'm just going to say, for argument's sake, that is the correct amount. But I'm going to tell you what the invoice is going to say. The invoice is going to say $1,600 and whatever cents, because $1,842.62 includes tax. The $1,600 on your invoice, on any invoice, taxes at the very end of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my calculator and I'm going to just say it's $1,600, and I'm going to say 9 times 9%. That's $144. So I would then change the price from $1,842.62 to $1,744. And I would do that for my furnace, my coil, and my condenser. So now I got whole new prices on all my furnace, my coil, my condenser. Everything changed for whatever that reason is. So then when all that stuff changed, what happened was, and if I just change one of those prices from $494 to $200, then what did it change on my, it changed my total. So then I would have to do my calculation over again, and I would have to go back to my my miscellaneous change out, put it back at 0, and I got $8,038 here, and I would have to go and add it and subtract from my 8333 to make my total correct, and then put my total back on the miscellaneous changeouts. That's why in doing these invoices, the very first thing that you want to do is look at the pricing of the equipment. You take the pricing of the equipment, you multiply it times the 9% on the taxes, and then you make your total for $1,842 correct up at the top. You make your total of the coil correct. You make your total of the furnace correct. Whatever is left over goes underneath change out, so you put it at 0, do your calculation, put the change out stuff as the rest of it, and then your total will be $83.30, as we talked about earlier, $83.33. So your average price of the condenser in the computer right now, and your average price of the coil, and your average price of the furnace should literally be correct, unless my prices went up. They're never going down, so they go up.
Right.
So if it went up, and my actual price is $1,842, and I've got in the computer $1,842.62, now I got to go add 9%, and I would raise the price in that computer to $2,000 or whatever the total cost of my condenser is that includes tax. Okay? That is my big deal. Furnace, coil, condenser, air handler, equipment has got to include tax. Anything that is left over, boxes, grills, collars, ductwork, straps, masking tape, duct tape, screws, all that extra stuff we purchased for that job just goes on the miscellaneous changeout. Now, there are a couple other line item selections that now you can add on the computer or on this dispatch. But I'm also going to go back to whatever the invoice says, total of 8332 or 8333. Your total still has to be 8333 in the very end of it. So let's add some stuff to here as we are just discussing how things come across on the computer and the invoice and what do we do in the computer. What extra line items do I have on a PO are very important. All equipment has a serial number to it. So this RA1636 has a serial number. So when we receive, which we'll go over later, when we receive this equipment, we will go into this description and we're going to type in SER number, and then when I get the invoice in, the serial number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? When I go to my evaporator coil, I'm going to put serial number on that one. I'm going to type in 2222222. Okay? With my furnace, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put in serial number, and it's 5555555. Okay. Those are my serial numbers, so that is going to be very, very, very important later on that you actually put the serial number in the description at this point in time, because you're not going to be able to do it at a later time, and this is very important that you have it here, because you're going to need it right where you see it at later on in the receiving of everything. Okay?
Gotcha.
Now, let's add some line items to here, because I was fixing to close out this ticket and I went, oh shit, I got to order an EcoNet thermostat as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go change. I'm going to put an EcoNet thermostat on here. So I'm going to type in ECO stop. And if I type in ECO, now ECO space NET. So when I first typed it in, I went ECO and then I put it in, which knocked everything off.
Mm-hmm.
I backspace 1 to ECO, then I can go find it in EcoQuest thermostat and I can select it. That says EcoQuest Flare, so that's actually not the one that I'm looking for. So I go back in here and I go Eco space, and I'm looking at EcoNet, which is the one right above it. Okay, so it's very important you know which one you're selecting, because this is a serialized thermostat, which you will have to have a serial number on it later on down the line as well too. Now, I'm going to purchase a Remy Halo. I'm going to type in Remy and I'm going to stop, and I'm going to select Remy Halo. It also is going to have a serial number in here. Now, Coburn's modifies the invoice, redoes it, and sends it back to me now. And now the total of this invoice is $10,333 is going to be my total of the invoice. $10,333. While I just added the EcoNet thermostat, I just added the Remy Halo in there. And I don't know, we threw some more stuff on there, like some transformers and low voltage wiring and things of that sort. So my total bill is $10,333. We got to go back again. We got to go, okay, I've already changed my condenser, the RA16. I added my tax. I know my total is $1,800 and $42.62. I know that my coil is $494.12. I know that my furnace is $1,095.01. Then I'm going to go to my other serialized items and I'm going to go, okay, my EcoNet thermostat on the actual invoice says $235. I go add 9% and I'm going to make it $268.80. My Remy Halo cost me $394. I'm going to go add my tax. My total is going to be $458.63. Those are all correct on there now. Again, my bill is $10,333. Go to my calculator. 10,333 is a plus. My total down at the very bottom down here is 4159.18. Put that as a negative. So in my miscellaneous change out is going to be 73.82. Now, this invoice is done and over with. This PO is actually ready. So when the paperwork comes in from Coburn's, my total when it comes in is going to be $10,333.00. Everything is complete on here. I can save this. Now, this is in a perfect where you got all this information prior to the invoice actually coming to you. We don't run a perfect world. So what's going to happen is that the PO is going to be issued and the furnace, the coil, the condenser is going to be purchased along with some ductwork, and then they're going to forget about the thermostat and the UV light, and then they go back in and they add the Remy Halo into it, they add the thermostat into it, shit gets screwed up any way, shape, or form, whatever. So bottom line is until the physical paperwork comes through, which Coburn's emails this invoice that day or the next day. I mean, it comes very quick. They email an invoice that now has the Econet thermostat on it and the Remy Halo. But the guy who went and purchased all the stuff, they gave him the first invoice that only had the furnace, the coil, the condenser, and the ductwork on it. When he went back and said, oh wait, I need the thermostat and I need the UV light, they go, okay, well here you go, I'll just add it to your ticket. So the piece of paper that he brings you in the office is not going to have the Remy Halo and the Econet thermostat on it because they did not reprint it out and he had to leave real quick and the computer went down and all that kind of crap. But the actual email you got from them actually had the Econet thermostat on it and the Remy Halo and everything, and your total is $10,333. The invoice that he brought you is $8,999. And you go, well, wait a minute, which one is correct? Well, I'm telling you, this is how it actually happens. The invoice that they have in their hand, they're going to turn into you, but a lot of times it's going to be a different price than the one that's emailed to you. So then you have to say, well, wait a minute, which one do I pay? Do I pay the invoice of the $83.33 or the $10,333? Which one is correct? Did the warehouse add a Remy Halo and an Econet thermostat on my job as opposed to another company that went and purchased it, and they had Taylor & Tyler up on the computer and they put it underneath my invoice and didn't realize it? So in doing purchase orders, you have got to be the gatekeeper. You just don't go, okay, I'm going to go ahead and pay the $10,333, when really and truly we should have got billed for the $8,000. The guy at Coburn's, he made a mistake, and another company came in, purchased the Remy Halo and the Econet thermostat, and he put it on your account by accident. Now, all these things have happened before, and we have to catch all that stuff. Now, in this case, I'm saying that we purchased the Econet thermostat and we purchased the Remy Halo, and we are getting a bill for $10,333. We will verify that now because now we have to pull the proposal. And pulling the proposal is going to show that we sold an RA1636, an RCF 3617, an R801 TAO 75417. We sold a Remy Halo. We sold an Econet thermostat. We sold all the ductwork. The proposal says what we sold. Your PO says this is what we purchased, which equals what we sold. Now I am okay to receive this purchase order. Then I've got to look at that invoice, and that invoice is going to have all of the model numbers and serial numbers on the paperwork, and you now have got to make it to where it is the exact same as on my computer. So, if you purchased, or if their paperwork says that you purchased an RA1636CJ instead of an AJ, CJ1NA, well, that may be a 3-phase condenser that they actually sold you. So they may have purchased or given you the wrong condenser. My model number that is on my proposal is the correct model number. Now, if it's a BJ as opposed to an AJ on there, I'm going to be okay. If it's a C, I'm not going to be okay. So every letter on each one of these model numbers is extremely important. In RCF 3617 STAMCA, which is your coil model number right here, every part of that model number means something. So if on your invoice it's an RCF 3617 MTAMCA, it's a different coil that may have cost me $200 more. If it's an R801CA 075417 furnace instead of a TA furnace, it's the wrong furnace. So the coil RCF 3617 STAMCA, what if it's an RCF 3617 STAVACA? Well, that's not a case coil. They got the wrong coil. So all these little things, you have got to be extremely, extremely, extremely meticulous on every letter that is on that model number, that is on the proposal, that is also being ordered and being received. If it is a different model number, if they give you an RA14 36 condenser or an RA1630 condenser instead of a 36, you cannot process that purchase order until we verify now that we got the right condenser, because it is very possible that Coburn's ended up typing in RA1630, but it was really a 36. The serial number, which you will have on some stickers, that when it gets turned in by the installers, you will have the serial number on the stickers. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that Coburn sent you an invoice that says RA1630 instead of a 36, AJ1NA. But the serial number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Serial number is correct. Model number that they have is a 30. Model number we have is a 36. So now there's a discrepancy in the model number that they have and what we have. So now you actually have to go look at the sticker that actually has, that sticker is on the condenser. So whatever that sticker is on the condenser, that is what you got. You go look at the sticker, and the sticker says RA1636. It's just they typed in RA1630. Okay? That should not happen for them, but it does happen. So whoever is doing POs, you have got to understand that every letter on these model numbers, on these furnaces, coils, condensers, and air handlers is extremely important. And one letter change can make a difference of literally $500, $600, $700 in cost of that furnace. So if I have an R802VA furnace as opposed to a 1TA furnace, that furnace just cost me about $800 more. And it's the wrong furnace. Now, if the installers take that furnace, they're supposed to match up the model numbers that are on the invoice to the model numbers that they are picking up and installing before they install it. And sometimes they catch that Coburn's gave them a R801CA furnace instead of a TA furnace. It's also possible that Chad over at Coburn's called me up and he goes, man, I don't have any TA furnaces. I have a CA. Will you take the CA? And I go, yeah, I'll go ahead and take the CA. Well, the proposal says TA. The installers are wanting to install a TA furnace, but they got sent a CA. And then On would call me up and go, "Hey, we got a CA furnace. I need a TA." And I go, "No, go ahead and install the CA because they don't have any more TAs." So I am the only one that changes model numbers, and it's based on what I know off of model numbers. Can I change an RCF 3617 MTA MCA to a STA MCA, or from an STA MCA to an MTA MCA? So I know what these mean, and I know why they match. Nobody else does. So for the person that is in the office that has no clue what I am talking about when I give all these damn model numbers and shit, you have got to read the proposal and read the exact numbers and letters that are on that proposal and be extremely meticulous on every single letter. And if it's different, you need to bring it to my attention instead of processing it through. Because you may have just processed a coil that cost me $300 more, and it was just an honest mistake by somebody, but it cost me $300 more to do that job, which obviously affects my profit level.
Right.
So very important. Now, go to the next. So that particular purchase order from Coburn's would now be saved. When we get that paperwork in, there is going to be an invoice number for Coburn's. That invoice number, I believe, is on the top right hand corner on a Coburn's invoice. When we get that in the memo, we will put that invoice number. That invoice number is 47474747. Okay. So now, when we save this, our memo states the invoice number for Coburn's. My total amount is $10,333. The actual invoice that I have from Coburn's is $10,333. Now, the invoice I got from Coburn's for $10,333 in this case is the one that I got emailed to me. The actual paperwork that was returned to me from the installers was $8,673 because it didn't have the Remy Halo on there. It didn't have the EcoNet thermostat on there because remember, they ended up going back and saying, "Oh wait, I need this and I need that. And by the way, give me some wiring, give me this and give me that." So it ran the bill up to $10,033. But they never printed it at that point in time, never gave it to them. They just go, "Okay, I'll just change your ticket for you," and they left. That invoice that comes back from Coburn's is going to have a sticker on it for the model numbers, the serial numbers of the actual furnace, the coil, and the condenser. You have got to now hold on to that invoice because it has the stickers on it, which are going to be very important. The stickers tell the true story. Now, you're going to actually go and print out the invoice from Coburn's. And when you print the invoice out, it's going to be $1033. The top part of it is going to be the same as your $8,300 invoice, but the bottom part of it is not going to be the same because it wasn't on the first one. You got to staple those two together. The reason you have to staple those two together is because it is really a $10,333 invoice. It's just that other paper has got the stickers on it, which is the most important thing. If you can peel those stickers off and put them on your new invoice, then you can throw the old invoice away. But having the actual original stickers is the most important thing. Can you go ahead and take the original invoice and print one of the new invoices and then cut the stickers off and paste them on the new invoice or tape them on the new invoice? The answer is yes, you can. As long as I have one invoice that has the stickers on it with the exact model number and serial number, because that is what will be verified is the stickers. Okay? Now I know that those stickers give me an exact model number, an exact serial number that is being purchased for that job. You have got to verify that what you actually purchased is the proper model numbers that are on the proposal. Then we can process from there. Okay, now in order to actually do an invoice, I have to receive that furnace, that coil, that condenser into my computer before I actually can receive it. So in with this, at the top of here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit save this PO, which I'm going to copy this PO right here. Okay. So if I hit save, it goes away. And it's just saved in my PO list, and I can go to PO list and I can find it. I can find it by the address. I can find it by the purchase order number. If I know that, I can go find the customer's account, and I can see when we did the dispatch, and I can go to the dispatch and I can hit view ordered parts, and it'll pull up this particular dispatch. There's many different ways to find this PO again. At this point in time, I'm going to say I am doing purchase orders, and my job is to do purchase orders, receive purchase orders, and make everything in the computer correct. So since that's my job and I received an email with the correct invoice, this is the next day now. The installers brought me back their ticket. I have all their paperwork. So the next day I'm ready to process my purchase order, and they brought me an invoice that's paid and all this kind of good stuff. So now we're ready to go and actually receiving these model numbers. Just remember that what you have in the computer as you pulled it up originally was what was originally asked for, which was the $8,000. So the invoice that you pulled up on the computer is $10,000. That's got to set an alarm off in your head. Why is it different? And you got to make sure that we actually purchased that Remy Halo and that EcoNet thermostat, because if it was purchased by another company and mistakenly put on our account, if you don't catch that, you're now sending it to payment department to say, okay, this invoice is ready to pay, and I verified everything on here that it's actually on the job, which we're going to get into that in just a little bit as well too, of how you have to verify all this, because I'm going to keep bringing this scenario back up that if Coburn's made a mistake and put the Remy Halo and the EcoNet thermostat on it, we did not order it, and another company purchased it, but they put it on our invoice by mistake because it was already up on their computer and they just made a mistake. We're getting billed for it, but we never received the product. So how do you catch that when you're doing the PO? Because when you're doing the PO and you're finalizing this invoice or this PO, you actually got to go to the documents that with the proposal, and you have to find on the proposal that we sold a Remy Halo, that we sold an EcoNet thermostat, because it's a line item. They're telling you on the emailed invoice that you purchased it, but yet the one that's being turned in for the guys does not have it on it. So the two scenarios I'm giving you is, scenario one, they went back in and they said, oh, by the way, I need this and this, and they went ahead and got it. So the invoice you got for the $10,333 is correct. Option number two is Coburn's made a mistake and somebody else was purchasing it and put it on our account. We got to look at both of those. So I'm going to keep bringing those scenarios up, so don't get them mixed up in your head. Okay. So now up at the top it says save and receive and save and bill. That is two completely different things. If you save and bill this, but you don't receive it, you didn't do me any good. Okay? You actually have to save and receive it. So I'm going to click save and receive, and it pulls up another screen. Now, remember I was telling you a little bit earlier that you have got to put the serial number in the description, and this is where it actually comes into play. On here, it says vendor. This is received items. So this tab that came up here, I'm going to move it around a little bit so y'all see it's a different deal. It says received items, save, save and bill, receive from PO, split line, receive all, barcodes, and clear. And a little question mark. Underneath it, the vendor, Coburn's. Date received today. Received by. You're going to put your initials in there, so I'm going to put Eric on there. Now you're going to go to your model number, RA1636, AJ1NA. You are going to look at that invoice, and if it is an RA1436, AJ1NA, you cannot receive it. If it's an RA16, if it's an RA16AZ36, AJ1NA, you cannot receive it because it is not the same model number that is actually on there. If it's an RCF3617 STA UVA coil and the model number you have on here is 3617 STA MCA, you cannot receive that model number. It has got to be the exact model number that you are receiving unless you verify with me that I give you the okay to receive it underneath the 3617 STA MCA. There are some exceptions that I allow it, you receive it underneath it, but you have to understand the back part of it first. So as a rule, the answer is no, you cannot receive that model number with that serial number if it is one letter different. Okay, that is the answer. Now, it says item, type is item, and then item is RA16. Description has your model number on here, Rude 16 Sear, R-410A, 3-ton condenser, and then serial number, and I put the serial numbers 1 through 9 there. I will highlight the 1 through 9 only without any spaces, very important, no spaces, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to move it all the way over here where it says serial number, and I'm going to paste that in where it says serial number. And it says on order is 1. Quantity ordered will be 1 as well. So that would actually put me as receiving one condenser with the serial number being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I will do the exact same thing for the coil and the furnace, and I will click on the serial numbers, highlight the serial number, copy it, move it over to the serial number, and I will do all three of them. Make sure you do not have a space in between your numbers or a letter or a number sign or anything like that, because you just screwed it up if you did it. I have to get now the serial number to the Econet thermostat. Well, where am I going to find that? I'm just going to remember, we walk back in there and go, oh, wait, I need the Econet thermostat. So what happens if Coburn's prints it out and don't put the serial number on the thermostat, which I don't believe they will on the thermostat. I know they will on the equipment, but I do not believe they will on the Econet thermostat. Now, you have got to go to the customer's invoice, and you got to now read to make sure that our guys did their job by putting the serial number in there. And you have to hopefully hope that they actually cut the tab of the box that has the model number and serial number of it, or took a picture of it with the model and serial number and uploaded it in documents, because you need that serial number to receive that thermostat. Remy Halo as well. Did they take a picture of the serial number? Did they cut the box? Did they cut the little piece of paper on the box that had the model and serial number printed out to where they have it on there? What if the serial number on the box itself is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the actual serial number that they wrote down was 2, 3, 4, 5, and they missed the 1? You always have to look at the stickers. Okay? The stickers tell the true story. People make mistakes. The stickers do not, because that sticker, when it went out on the factory, got scanned and it's registered as 2345. Had that happen before too, where the actual model number and what the sticker said is two different things. You know, so it rarely happens, but it has happened before. Okay, so remember, you got to have the serial number on here, and in order, so I put it on there, I highlight it, and in this case I highlighted and I left a space before it, and if I did that and I put it over here and I paste it, if I leave it with the space, I will never be able to find that serial number in my computer, because who goes and looks for a serial number and puts space first? Nobody. So you got to go to it and you got to backspace it one time to take the space out of it, and then you can receive it. So from here, that I have got to go to every line item, and I've got to go on order 1, quantity 1, and I would have to go down each one of these and put 1 on each one of them, so that my total comes to $10,333. My ductwork, $6,173.82. I say yes, I received 1. Yes, I received 1 Econet thermostat, 1 Remy Halo, a furnace, a coil, a condenser. I've got serial numbers on everything that needs a serial number. I do not put anything in the lot number. The job number already pops up, which is 228 Pye Street. Department is residential. Dispatch number is already there. From here, this PO is ready to be saved and billed. When you save and bill this, it will now create a bill in the QuickBooks in our accounting firm. Okay? You have got to make sure before that you hit save and bill that everything you just did, that the invoice is correct, the invoice number is correct, the total amount is correct, the serial numbers are correct, the model numbers are correct. Everything is correct on this thing before you hit save and bill. Now, I am not going to save and bill this because I don't want to save all these model numbers. So I'm just going to hit an exit on here. And do you wish to lose your current unsaved transaction? Yes. Sure you wish to exit? Yes. So I exited it. So I created that entire PO. So now if I go to this dispatch and I hit view ordered parts, I ordered the parts, but I have not received them. Okay? So it says quantity 1, but it has not been received. If I would have received them in order place, up at the top it would say order place, and if I would have billed it already, it would have a check mark up at the top. Okay. So let's continue through our POs. This is for one specific item, or one specific job that I made sure that that PO was on properly. Now, what if I am purchasing a condenser from AC Supply? It's not from Coburn's, it's not Rude Equipment, it's not Amana, it's not Mitsubishi, and it's not Lennox. I am purchasing an American Standard condenser. What line item would I use to purchase it? So I go to item, I click down the arrow here, and then I will type in MISC, and then I stop. When I type in MISC, okay, that will pull up a whole bunch of stuff that's up on here. Now, if I do a space and then I hit E, it's going to be miscellaneous equipment, and I can continue to start typing EQ. Then it comes up with, now in the computer I've got MSC dot space EQ. I typed in MISC no dot space EQ. So if I backspace this, okay, MIC, and then I hit a dot, then I hit a comma. I hit the wrong one. So I hit a period, and then I hit EQ. Okay, it's going to now pop up. So with or without hitting the dot on there, it's going to eventually pop up if I hit the EQ on there. Okay. Now, there is miscellaneous equipment that says serialized item, and I will click that one, and then I'm going to go hit another one down, and I'm going to go miscellaneous equipment.
No.
Alright, so the first line item says miscellaneous equipment, and it says serialized items in caps. I do not want to use that one. I ought to just go ahead and make it inactive. Very, very rarely do I use it. Okay?
Okay.
I want to use the miscellaneous equipment. And the miscellaneous equipment that just says describe model number and serial number, do not put Rude or Lennox equipment here. It says that in the description.
Uh-huh.
The miscellaneous equipment one that says serialized item says any equipment other than Rude or Lennox. And it would also, I'll throw in there Mitsubishi and Amada. Don't use the serialized item one, and it's because it causes a problem later on down the line. Use the miscellaneous equipment one that says describe model number and serial number. Do not put Rude and Lennox equipment here. Now, again, I am ordering something from AC Supply, and this is not a piece of Rude, Lennox, Amana, or Mitsubishi. This is an American Standard condenser. The model number of that American Standard equipment is APT 12 036 SSD. Alright, that's the model number of it. When you're putting this stuff in the computer, put it all under caps. APT 12 036 SSD, whatever. That is your model number of your Train or American Standard condenser you're purchasing from AC Supply. The serial number you have not received yet until you get the paperwork in and the sticker in, so you do not put the serial number in just yet. You're trying to give a PO so that we can literally purchase the equipment from AC Supply. So as you give a purchase order, you ask whoever is asking for the purchase order, what are you purchasing? I'm purchasing a condenser. Well, then that has to ring a bell in your head, and you got to go, why are you purchasing a condenser from AC Supply? We do not sell equipment from AC Supply on a regular basis. Well, this is a specific job that I happen to need, the AP12 36 SSD condenser, and I sold it. Therefore, I need a PO to purchase it. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a PO, and then you also have got to verify that whatever that person is purchasing is legit. Okay? Well, if he was trying to steal that condenser, he's not going to call and ask for a PO for it.
Right.
Okay? You know, he's just going to try to put it underneath somebody's name. So, you give him the PO for it, and then when he turns that paperwork in, you put the serial number down there. Now, when you receive this equipment, you will not have to put the serial number underneath serialized item, underneath where it says serial number, because miscellaneous equipment, serialized item, you have to put a serial number there. Miscellaneous equipment that doesn't have a serialized item literally put on there, when you receive it, you just got to put one as a quantity and your total the correct amount. It's not going to ask you for a serial number. But you always have the serial number in the description. Mm-hmm. Because that serial number will therefore transfer over to the invoice, and then the invoice, when you line item the invoice and put the miscellaneous equipment in, it's going to have your model and serial number there. Then when you receive all the POs on the job, you can receive that miscellaneous equipment, which is actually going to go into equipment, and then you have to physically type in that model number and serial number and warranty and all that kind of stuff into where it's going to ask you for all that stuff, and then it'll be in our equipment. So this is very confusing. It's a lot of shit in going over POs. The main thing is all model numbers, all equipment should be and should have a line item for that equipment. Now, Joe Blow calls me up right now, one of my technicians, and my salesman sold a job, and it's a rude piece of equipment, and I'll use one of the new model numbers that we don't even have in the computer yet. It's going to be an RA14 AZ. Well, when you key it in, it's not going to be in there. Okay? Since it's not going to be in there, what you can literally do is you can type in miscellaneous equipment. Okay? You can select the miscellaneous equipment, and then when they give you the model number, you're going to type in RA14 AZ 036 AJ1NA. So you got the correct model number in there. Then at a later time, before you process all this, because any Rude, Lennox, Amana, or Mitsubishi equipment, I want that model number in my computer. Rude is changing all their model numbers. Some of the other supply houses are changing their model numbers. So as I get a new line item in there for a model number, I want to add it into my computer so the next one we sell over these next several years, it's in there already. Okay? So you have to bring it to my attention, and I actually have to give you a line item, or I have to make a specific item number for that particular condenser before you can actually receive this PO. I have to make one for it. Okay? Now, if you type in warranty, I have warranty, all warranty labor from 3, 5, 10 year warranties. That's if you're purchasing a warranty from Comfort Shield. So then I would do a Lennox vendor. I'm purchasing a 3-year labor warranty for Joe Blow that just bought a piece of equipment. I use warranty 10-year, warranty, all labor warranty, 3, 5, and 10-year warranty companies, okay? If I'm purchasing a 10-year warranty, I can use that. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, it says bronze 3-year labor warranty. This is the one that I actually will use for the if I'm purchasing a 3-year labor warranty from Lennox, from Comfort Shield, I would use the bronze 3-year labor warranty is what I use when purchasing it, okay? Warranty equipment. So I'm going to select warranty equipment. When will I use warranty equipment? Well, if you read the description and follow the description, all warranty coils, condensers, air handlers, furnaces, equipment only, no parts. Do not use for Rude or Lennox, and I'm going to say or Mitsubishi or Amana as well. I have a coil from American Standard that was not purchased through us, but is only 2 years old. And I'm purchasing this coil for $500. This is not a coil I sell on a regular basis. It's not a Rude, Amana, Mitsubishi, or Lennox product. It is a American Standard coil that I am purchasing for this customer because it is under warranty, and we're going to do a warranty on the coil. Now, it's $500 for the coil. I have to get the customer to pay me the $500, and then when I get the $500 back, I will refund them the money. That's a very important part. Second thing is, it's not my main dealer that I deal with Rude, Lennox, Amana, or Mitsubishi. Those will have their own warranty line item. So this is warranty equipment other than my main line items for Rude, Lennox, Amana, and Mitsubishi. That's when you use warranty equipment. And equipment is considered a furnace, a coil, a condenser, or an air handler. Equipment, if you have an air handler, very rarely will you have warranty equipment that is quote unquote an air handler. It would be a coil 99% of the time. If you're changing a blower motor out in the air handler, it's not warranty equipment. The equipment is the furnace, the coil, the condenser, and air handler.
Right.
The blower motor is warranty parts. Okay?
So I have a quick question.
Yes.
So I sold a job. The guys are out on that job. They realize that they need some additional equipment, some more ductwork, for instance. In the past, to get a PO for that, they have to give a, what's the total price on it? Does that still stand?
Yes.
Okay.
You should have to give a total. So I will instruct the new person giving POs that because they are brand new as well, and people will take advantage of them and they will screw them up and make them look bad, that they're going to be instructed to be hard asses and say, I'll give you a PO as soon as you give me a total. Okay? So if you go to a supply house and you say, I need a PO, the person given the PO is the gatekeeper of the PO. So their next question should be, what do you need the PO for what job? Well, I just need it for my truck. Sorry. Not unless you have the okay to purchase it from Merit.
Right.
I'm not giving you a PO just to go shopping.
Right.
Okay? So Matt will come to me and he'll say, hey, can we put some negative pressure switches on our truck? I say, yes. I say, when you buy the negative pressure switch that you want to put on the truck, which is a generic one, buy 4 of them so we can put one on each truck. So he will ask for a PO and he's going to say it's truck stock, which it is. It's truck stock because it's not really going to a job. He's just putting it on a truck.
Yeah.
So we'll put it underneath Taylor and Tyler as the actual person this is for, because it's going on truck stock. The vendor's still going to be Coburn's or wherever may be the case.
Right.
And then you put that as miscellaneous service parts, and then you put negative pressure switch, quantity 4 of them, $20.85 per one, whatever it costs, okay? Then those items need to be distributed to the technicians so each one has one. All right. Our next line item on here is warranty parts. Warranty parts. What is a part? Is an evaporator coil a part? Well, it's a part inside of an air handler, but is it considered a part? The answer is no. So a coil is considered warranty equipment. And I'm going to say most evaporator coils have serial numbers to them. Lennox's evaporator coils for their air handlers do not have serial numbers. So when you use warranty equipment and it's an evaporator coil and you're expecting a serial number, there will be no serial number for that warranty coil.
So it have to be the serial number for the air handler?
It's the serial number for the air handler, that is correct. A warranty part is going to be, it says warranty, except coils, furnaces, condensers, and air handlers, okay? Because all that's equipment. Warranty part, well, I'm changing the compressor inside the condenser. That is a warranty part. It is part of the condenser. Look inside there. I got some 5-hour energy.
Huh?
I said, look inside there. I got some 5-hour energy. I'll take a swig.
I don't usually mess with that stuff.
If you need a warranty blower motor, if you need a warranty circuit board, if you need a warranty heat sequencer, if you need any part for the system other than the furnace, the coil, the condenser, you use warranty parts. All right?
Right.
That's important. Here, just take this. Let me figure all that out. Keeps me awake.
I'm trying.
Don't do the whole thing. Here.
I'm not planning on
You can
it.
take a swig of this one if you want.
Yeah, let me do that instead.
I mean, literally, it takes me 3 times to do it. To take the whole thing. So, I'm going to key in warranty again. And when I pull up, I did warranty equipment, I did warranty parts. Now I'm going to go into warranty equipment, and then it says warranty Lennox. We're going to go to warranty Lennox right now. So when I key in warranty Lennox and it has --S on it, all warranty equipment from Lennox, model number and serial number. Now, so I have an evaporator coil that needs to be replaced underneath warranty. We installed the system in 2020. The coil's bad. We need a new coil for it. We call Lennox. They have a coil. We give them a purchase order. Here's the purchase order. We're purchasing the coil. The coil cost me $500. We do the warranty paperwork. The warranty paperwork now sends a vendor credit. We have to do the paperwork, and you issue a vendor credit. You give that to Lennox, send all that stuff in, and you wait for them to credit you that $500 for that coil. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Which the vendor credit, we have a spreadsheet that handles every single warranty item that comes through, and it tracks from when you purchased it, who you purchased it from, for what job, install date, warranty, the whole 9 yards of it, all the way through, and it gives you the whole process of it all the way through till you get the money back or credit back on the account, and then that line item's closed.
Mm-hmm.
Until it's closed, I haven't got my money back.
Right.
Okay? So warranty Lennox means a piece of equipment that a furnace, a coil, a condenser. Now, 90% of the time, it's going to be an evaporator coil, because a furnace, when you have a part for a furnace, it does not go under warranty Lennox-S because it's for equipment. If you have a part for that furnace that goes bad, a blower motor, a induced draft motor, whatever, that goes underneath warranty parts.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go underneath warranty Lennox. Okay? If you have a blower motor, nope, that's a part. That's not Lennox.
Right.
The warranty Lennox is only equipment. If you have a compressor for a condenser, it goes underneath warranty parts. If you have a condenser coil, it goes underneath warranty parts. If they warranty you the entire air handler, which has happened because they didn't have the parts for it, they didn't have the evaporator coil, so they warranted you the entire air handler, then it goes underneath warranty Lennox.
Okay, yeah, which is equipment.
Mm-hmm. Next line item, we're going to again key in warranty again, and all these things, when you key in warranty, pops up, okay? So we're going to go underneath warranty service parts. So you got warranty parts and warranty service parts. They're literally identical. They are literally identical. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Service parts. You have a blower motor. You have a circuit board. You have a flame sensor, induced draft motor. Any part for that system can go underneath warranty service parts. Now I also have in here warranty rude.
So why do you have warranty parts and warranty service parts?
Yeah, just an
Just
extra one got added.
Okay.
That's all it boils down
All right.
to.
Okay.
So I got warranty rude right here, -S on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that one is warranty rude equipment model number and serial number. Now, every blue moon they will give me an entire condenser instead of a compressor because they don't have the compressor.
Mm-hmm.
Then you will do that model number and serial number of the entire condenser. Now, a compressor has a model number and a serial number. So do you put it underneath warranty rude or do you put it underneath warranty service parts? You would put it underneath warranty service parts because
It's still
a compressor is not a furnace, a coil, or condenser.
Mm-hmm.
A compressor is a service part.
Gotcha.
A condenser coil does not have a serial number. An evaporator coil does have a serial number to it.
Mhm.
And an evaporator coil is different from a condenser coil. So when somebody just says, I'm changing the coil, 99% of the time they mean the evaporator coil.
Mhm.
1% of the time they mean I'm changing the condenser coil. But the question has always got to be asked, which coil are you changing? The condenser coil or evaporator coil? 99% of the time they're going to say evaporator coil. With that, you are looking for a serial number, which you will put it underneath warranty rude. Come the beginning of 2023, which is a couple more weeks away,
Mhm.
we will have a warranty Amana, a warranty Mitsubishi. Okay, so we'll have warranty stuff on those as well too, and we will do a little bit of change.
Mhm.
Especially since whoever is watching this video is supposed to be our new person coming in, and you'll learn a different little way, but it's only just a couple little line items in there. Warranty. So again, in my search bar, when I go item on my PO and I click the little arrow down, it pops up this box. And if I type in warranty, these are all the things that pop up. 3-year labor warranty, service parts warranty, warranty rude, warranty parts, warranty Lennox, warranty equipment, one with a serial number, one without a serial number. I'm going to streamline some of this for you as well too, that it will say warranty Lennox, warranty rude. And I may do a warranty Lennox parts, warranty rude parts, you know?
Mhm.
And therefore, if it's Lennox, you know, like up at the top right now, for vendor, I have Coburns.
Right.
Well, you're not going to put warranty Lennox on a line item when you're actually the vendor is Coburns.
Right.
You know, so I'm just going through these things to
For
show
training
just
purposes.
for training purposes. So if it says Lennox and that's where you're going, you will go warranty Lennox parts or warranty Lennox equipment.
Mhm.
That's the two you're going to use. Nothing more, nothing less.
Right.
Okay. And that way, it will also streamline that you know if it's a warranty Lennox, you know to go to the Lennox website for all that stuff. Okay. If I type in miscellaneous, all right, MISC. Let's see, a whole bunch of things pop up. Freon, all kinds of stuff there. Miscellaneous equipment we went over. Miscellaneous changeout. I went up at the top. So miscellaneous changeout is going to be used almost every day. So miscellaneous changeout means that any miscellaneous parts that are used on the installs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if there is an install that is being done and they call and they need a PO for it, for boxes, ductwork, grills, copper lines, you know, whatever, you type in miscellaneous changeout and you put that whatever the description is. So On calls me up right now and he goes, well, I need to get some boxes, some grills, some ductwork, some copper lines, some Rubitex. Do you have to go ahead in your description and put every line item that he's purchasing? The answer is no. When you get the ticket in, though, you need to look at every single line item on there. And here's why you need to look at every single line item on there. There will be a time or two, not too often, because I hit them for it when they do.
That they will add something.
That they will add a tool in there. And it's their own personal tool that they want to purchase and stick it in on an invoice. And so I purchase the tool and they keep it.
Uh-huh.
So, it rarely happens, that somebody tries to be underhanded. Rarely, but this is your job. If you're doing POs, this is your job to look at every single line item, and you want to look for every opportunity that somebody has to purchase something and steal it.
Mm-hmm.
That is your job when you're doing POs and you are accepting and receiving these line items. You are saying that when you receive it and bill it, that I checked everything and
it's all
it is
accounted for.
okay to go ahead and pay this bill. Nobody has stolen anything on here and I've accounted for everything.
This is see what else.
We're going to pause this right now.
Hello, this is Glenn. Yes, sir. I am great, sir. I am great.